Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Resident Evil 2 Claire A. In the last part we got here to the lab, and now we're actually going to finish the scenario off because there's not much left to it, as you might be able to tell by the timestamp. First off, we actually do have a red herb here, which I recommend you grab because it's the last one in the game, if I recall, for Claire. And this next room can be kinda tricky. But first off, if you didn't get the weapons box key, I recommend you go back and get it, if you actually can. I don't think you can, actually. Never mind. Because here we got some grenade rounds. This reward isn't really worth getting the weapon box key, though, all things considered. The Leon reward is so much more worth it. I also recommend bringing the bow gun, because it's just a lot more useful for the zombies here. Also, that's the thing I haven't really done much in this game. Like Resident Evil 1, you can aim up and down, but it's not very useful. The only gun that you can get real good use out of it is... probably one of Leon's. Well, maybe a grenade launcher you can get some good use out of a grenade launcher that's after a round that's aimed up. I'm surprised that killed that guy. And then we got the lab card key. That's only ever used twice, I believe, for both scenarios. And one is actually very close by, so let's head on over in that direction. By the way, I love that door sound.
Annette!
You killed William. I'll never forgive you for that.
Wait!
I've just prepared a sample of the G-Virus. And this time, no one will take it from me. This is the most significant piece of research my husband has ever left in my hands.
Stop it! Sherry's in serious trouble. William implanted her with his embryos. There's no telling when they'll pupate. And if that happens, then Sherry won't...
What? William... William, you're alive. William is still alive. He's getting stronger with each skin he casts off. Sherry!
Tell me what I need to know. How can I save Sherry?
I have detailed information. Everything you need to know to prepare the antidote is right here.
Ah, great. Instructions for synthesis for the G-Virus antigen G-Vaccine, codenamed Devil. Any beings infected with the G-Virus will reproduce through the impregnation of an embryo within another living being. Unless rejected by the host, the embryo will undertake a process of gradual cellular invasion, infecting the host cells at a molecular level as it rewrites their DNA. Whoa. Once the metamorphosis is complete, the host will be capable of continuing the cycle of self-replication. The duration of the time for the process to run its course will vary from subject to subject. In the early stages of cellular invasion, it is possible to halt progression of the metamorphosis through the administration of the G-Vaccine antigen. The following procedure details its synthesis. The vaccine creation requires the base vaccine. This can be arranged by the Vactivator VAM. First, set the empty cartridge into the VAM and activate it. After several moments, the process will be complete, and the white-colored base vaccine will be set in the cartridge automatically. Then confirm the green light is on, remove the cartridge and proceed to the next step. Once the base vaccine has been prepared, set it in the vaccine synthesis machine located on the P4 level experiment room. The machine is fully automated and only requires the user to push the sequence start switch. At this point, the program will run. Wow, I gave myself a lot of time to read this, didn't I? Huh. Automatically, the synthesis will be complete within approximately 10 seconds. As the synthesis of Devil is an extremely delicate process, the quality will vary with a slight shocks or changes in temperature. Careful handling is required for the proper results. Well then.
Save my daughter. And tell her I'm sorry I wasn't a better mother. Tell her I love her. Sherry.
Annette!
Self-destruct sequence has been activated. Repeat, the self-destruct sequence has been activated. This sequence may not be aborted. All employees proceed to the emergency car at the bottom platform.
And Resident Evil 1 self-destruction sequence. But I have to say, While I love the battle theme against the Birkin that we fought in the elevator, and I love the save room theme, this is my favorite normal song in the game. I love the Self-Destruct theme so much. Either way, since we're coming up on the end, we're gonna want to do another little change around of our inventory. We still want the lab key card, but I recommend bringing only the grenade launcher because it's the only thing you really need in order to face off certain enemies coming up. That, and we're about to use the lab key card for its first use. You see, there is one more zapping mechanic the game has to offer us. It's the last one, really, in terms of the main game. At least that we can access in Claire. Come down this really oddly infested looking area, and we can open this door with the card key. You might remember that password paper we found last part. We can now use it, but first we have to kill a giant killer moth. Sorry, Mothra. We don't need you. Or your little babies either. How did they survive that? There we go. Will you operate the computer? Yeah. Umbrella Rotom System, version 5, Culture Experiment, Room Staff Registry. Accessing. Enter your username. As that paper said we got last part, guest. A word I know how to spell from heart because back in elementary school we had to enter our login as visitor guest. Register your fingerprint. Please wait, and registration complete. Guest registration is valid for 24 hours. Now that we've done that, we can now start something we can't finish until the second scenario. So, we got some stuff to do still. I actually do have distinct memories. I think I mentioned it before. Oh, well, first off, we're back in this room because reasons, because we can't really go anywhere else.
Leon, we made it.
Claire, is that you? Where are you?
I can see you on the monitor. But never mind that right now. Leon, you have to go back and get Sherry for me. I left her in the security office. Please, you must save her.
Wait a second. What are you gonna do? Where are you going?
I still have a few loose ends to take care of. I'm counting on you.
Alright, as I was saying, sorry about that because I knew that cutscene was coming up. I believe I mentioned, like, in part 4, I have distinct memories of playing this on a cruise. I remember for a fact on the way back, I was playing this on the bus with my... Well, first off, hi there, Liquor. He's not a threat. I have distinct memories of playing this with my friend Scott, who you might remember from the Terraria Let's Look At, and something else you'll see coming fairly soon, I think. And him just being what the hell is going on, because not only did he miss most of the plot, but that means he saw the weirdest stuff this game has to offer, honestly. We never really do get any background for that plant thing. Would have been... you know what? The remake's probably going to have like 6 files dedicated to that alone. Oh, hi there. These things can poison you if I recall, but it doesn't really matter to me because I have more than enough health. Now, where we want to head... Well, actually, no, it's the same place either way. Claire can use the other half of the... Like I mentioned before, let me restart the sentence. The lab card key has 2 uses. Claire needs to use both. Leon only needs to use it the once. But before I do that, I want to open up this door now that we have the power open. We could have done this earlier, but you can see that little computer there. Let's see what that's for. 2 or more staff need to be present to enter. Commencing with fingerprint verification. Will we proceed? This is why we need to get verified. Fingerprint verified. Commencing with secondary fingerprint verification. We cannot proceed because we need a secondary user. That will be Leon. That is a B scenario exclusive door as long as you do the guest registration thing in that one room. And honestly, it's not very stellar. And I don't think Leon ever needs to enter this room. I'm not even sure if there's anything in here in the B scenario. Either way, kill all the zombies in here before doing anything else, because you can push this light switch, and now it can do what we can in this room. Though there is one more thing you're going to want to grab in here, so make sure you have at least 2 inventory slots before coming here. I probably should have mentioned that earlier. Did I kill something? Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Now it's dead. You want to grab the Mo disc. Yeah, for some reason this thing's back. I think they're just a Resident Evil staple at this point in terms of classics. And you need that to finish the game, so grab it. And now we can... And now that the VAM is in there, we can actually activate it with this. Start switch for the VAM. Will I push it? Yeah. Kind of wasting time your game. And like that note that Annette gave us said we can now grab the vaccine. That can take me a while to figure out in some playthroughs. Why? Honestly, it's because I rarely ever read the files on my own time. Oh, hello. I don't know how the hell you were still alive, but you're definitely not now. Because honestly, the files are there for a first playthrough, but a second onwards, you don't really need to read them because... What's the point? The only one I'd ever really read on repeated playthroughs in Resident Evil 1 is Itchy Tasty because meme. And no others in this one because honestly, Resident Evil 2's files, while they're a lot more serious, they're not as interesting because of it. You kind of miss some of the goofiness. Though one thing I should probably bring up is, I mentioned before, I believe, that this game series is known as Biohazard in Japan. The reason they couldn't name it that over here is because around the time the first game was released, I believe, or at least in development, there was a DOS-based game, or just released, or at least recently released, called Biohazard. And there was also, I think, a rock band of the same name? Or something like that? I forget the exact genre. So, getting that name and trademarked and such would have been complete and total hell over here. So, Capcom actually had a company-wide naming contest for Resident Evil 1. And Resident Evil 1, obviously, because it was a pun based on the fact that the first game took place within a mansion. And honestly, the name just kind of stuck, because, at least in 2 and 3, we're still in a very familiar location. We're still around Raccoon City. 4 onwards, Code Veronica onwards even, not so much, because we go all over the place from that point in the series onwards. Also, use your grenade rounds instead of your acid or flame rounds here, because they're a lot better to use on the zombies. Hi, hey, I actually blew that guy's leg off. That's something that can happen too. It usually happens with a weapon for Leon with me. But yeah, you can actually blow off the lower halves of zombies and, well, it does stuff to them. There's a disc slot. The monitor says insert a verification mode disc to open the gate. Okay, I shall do that. That's why you need the mode disc. It's so you can enter that room. But before we do that, we do kind of want to finish the vaccine. Admittedly, Resident Evil 2 on the whole kind of speeds up once you leave the RPD because there's not much left of the game at that point. I'd say the RPD is a good 60 to 70% of the game, honestly. Which, you know, every game has its different chunks, but that's kind of strange. Also, get as many healing items as you can, because you're going to need them for what's coming up. Choices. Hey, Annette. How you doing? Still dead? Okay. You know, I do kind of feel sorry for Annette, though, on the whole, in terms of the series lore. Because her husband got a bit too attached to his science experiment of doom. She dies, her husband becomes a monster, and God knows what's going to happen with Sherry. Either way, this is where we have to put the base vaccine. You actually could have investigated this beforehand and learned that, so bit of an odd pathing there. Man, that really is a quick synthesis. I don't think that would actually work like that, and that is actually really nice blue. I could have sworn I've seen this thing be different colors. Like, I've seen it be green and shit. I don't know what's with that, though. Maybe I'm just imagining things like that. Kind of like how people imagine that the bear cartoon that I'm not even going to try to pronounce because I'll anger like 6 people by saying, no, it's the Berenstein Bears. No, it's the Berenstein. I honestly don't even remember what I heard it as. I just remember reading the books a lot. And Michael Cera was the voice of the Sun at one point, which is weird because he became Scott Pilgrim. And a lot of other things, but Scott Pilgrim's my favorite of his movies. Either way, now let's make some final preparations, bring along some more herbs, and the handgun really just loses use once you enter the lab, if you ever noticed. Because at that point, you have more than enough grenade launcher ammo for any, or at least for grenade rounds, maybe not the other ones so much. And there's so few enemies that it's honestly not worth it. Also, I should mention, you may have noticed, but Claire replaced her lockpick with the vaccine because there's no more locks to unlock. In fact, I don't think there's any, once you get into the sewers, that she can unlock. So, yeah. Yeah, I think the last one is that door that we used to go into the room that Sherry was. Either way, the exit's this way, so we better get out of there. Why'd the music fade out? Oh, I like that song.
5 minutes until detonation.
Well, now we're locked into this path. Luckily there's not much left. A huge left is used to reach the platform. Will I activate it? Yeah. Well, hi there, Billy. Where the hell did you come from? Either way, don't underestimate this form of Billy, because he hurts a lot, and he has a pretty decent amount of attacks. Bring your flame rounds and use them first, because phase 1 is the easy one. Billy Birkin Form G4 is honestly his hardest fight in the game. He is fast, does a lot of damage, and he can jump from the top to the bottom and honestly chase you down with pretty decent speed. And I absolutely hate this form, especially as Claire, because her arsenal sucks. Don't get me wrong, acid rounds and flame rounds, pretty powerful. But compared to the stuff Leon gets, she is just pitifully weak in combat. Don't get me wrong, against normal zombies, she's pretty good, but boss fights, Claire really gets the bad end of the stick. Especially when it chases us down like this. I hate this attack. He has this one attack where he'll grab you in those little fang mouths, and that does the most damage. In fact, past a certain point, I think like if you're in like yellow or orange caution, I think it's instant kill. In fact, there it is right there. Thankfully, he just threw me out, and oh my god, I'm nearly dead. No, I'm not. This fight can suck. Thankfully, by the power of luck, I didn't have that bad of a fight against him, all things considered. And with that, that's about it. That was actually the final boss of the A scenario, if you're playing as Leon or Claire. So, all that's left is our escape. So, what do you guys say we get the hell out of this place?
Sherry's unconscious.
I have the antidote. If I give it to her.
Claire, what's happening?
Not now. Come on, Sherry, wake up. Wake up. Please wake up. Claire? Where am I? Oh, Sherry, you're gonna be okay. Thanks, Claire.
It's over.
No. I have to find my brother.
You're right. This is just the beginning.
My God has protected you. It will always be with you. Claire. Sherry.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is the Claire A scenario of Resident Evil 2. However, as I've stated several times, we're not done yet. We're only about halfway there. We still got Leon B to go through. However, as for the Claire scenarios, I don't like them that much, honestly. Not that Claire is bad in gameplay, but honestly, her arsenal just makes it not as fun. Leon you can have a lot of fun with. But Claire is at least balanced, and honestly, for the most part, her scenarios aren't that hard. The only time that it gets really annoying is during boss fights with her due to her arsenal. Claire A, honestly, has the hardest final boss in... Well, actually, no. On the whole, I'd say I like Claire A more than Claire B, because Claire B, the final boss of that, thinking about it, is actually more annoying, but the Claire A scenario final boss, the speed is just too much for her arsenal in most cases. Story-wise, her scenario isn't that bad. We get a good amount of backstory on not Leon. That's not his scenario. William. We see a good amount of Sherry. And we get her side of the story, which for the most part is fairly solid. On the whole, though, Leon is the reason I go back to this game because of his arsenal and the fact that his scenarios are just a lot more fun to blaze through. And yeah, I've got a lot of things to talk about. Admittedly, William did actually do something a bit different in terms of Sherry in Resident Evil 1.5, because he was still a major plot point at that point, as was Sherry. He actually screamed her name. Which you may have noticed, Sherry said that she heard her father and the monster, supposedly him getting attacked by the monster, even though very obviously the monster was her father. But we never really get anything of him talking in this game, which honestly, having a kind of humanized monster in the late 90s would have been a bit interesting. The series wouldn't really dive into anything like that until probably Resident Evil 6 a bit with what happens at the end of Chris's scenario. Also, Sherry, we'll see her again obviously in the B scenario, but in terms of in canon, we won't see her again until 6, so say goodbye to her. We won't be seeing her for a while. But yeah, Claire's scenario, decent, but honestly, on the whole, Leon A and Leon B are a lot more entertaining to me. And let's see what my endgame rank was for Claire. By the way, I love these little end images. I love them to death. And I love this little piano piece too. That's really nice and soothing. Yeah, A rank. I forget exactly what determines ranking. I'll probably have that for you in the Leon scenario. But I did pretty well. Not my best time as Claire. I think my best time is as Claire A is probably an hour 47. No, probably not that fast. Something like that. Like less than 2 hours. I know that for a fact. But honestly, yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, as I've stated several times, we're only halfway done. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great night and take care. And I'll see you guys in Leon B. See you guys then.